Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of me talking about Attack on Titan in whatever way that I want. Now, trying to make sense of the way Attack on Titan ends is like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't fit, okay? I appreciate all of the work some of my favorite YouTubers are doing to make sense of the ending, right? They're not saying that we're clueless and yada yada yada. They're just trying to kind of make people feel better by trying to offer some sort of explanation, right? I appreciate all the work they're doing, but the only way to make sense of the ending is to literally grasp at straws. Every ending defender will tell you to, oh, you're a speed reader, go back through the manga with a fine-tooth comb, but they obviously don't do that themselves. And let me tell you why they do that. They do that so they can go back through the manga and grasp at straws to make what we got make sense. You can send an ending defender a 1-hour video about why the ending doesn't make sense, complete with screenshots, complete with evidence, and so on and so forth, and they send you a wordless panel to justify what we got. Some of them would deny any intimacy between Eren and Historia, but then send you a wordless panel of Eren staring at Mikasa to justify his tantrum in 139. Now, I call this selective straw grabbing. Now, remember that term. Now, I've been called based, the flow of YouTube, female Chad, etc., and I get it. I just say what I think 24/7. I think that I'm more of a female Eren, but after all that exposition, let's get on to today's topic. Mikasa does not equal Ymir. But just before we get into that, I'm going to make a series called AOT Ending Graveyard as a resource to send to ending defenders. It's going to be a mix of my videos and some YouTubers you already know that basically call out in plain black and white colors why this ending makes no sense. Okay? Just as a resource, and I can't wait for anime onlys to check this out once they get slapped in the face with the ending. So because I love this fandom so much, and because I used to love the show so much, I will make this resource for the anime people, for the manga people who still would try to defend this ending. So I will create this playlist as soon as today, and you guessed it, this video will be in the playlist. Now back to your scheduled programming. Mikasa was never Ymir's parallel. So I'd like to start this off by saying comparing Mikasa and Ymir is like comparing apples and oranges. This is one of the oddest twists in anime history. In fact, it's one of the only twists in anime history I can think of where there was absolutely no build-up to this whatsoever. So by the end of this video, you should be convinced of two things. Number one, Mikasa being Ymir's parallel makes no sense. And number two, that it's an ass pull or a retcon or whatever you'd like to call it. If you aren't convinced or you still think the ending was good, the second this video is over, go ahead and unsubscribe and block my channel because there's no hope for you. You're not smart enough to have this conversation. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but let us begin. Chapter number 1. Contrasting the backstories. Part 1. Similarities. Eren and Mikasa and Ymir and King Fritz are opposites. Complete opposites. Mikasa met Eren the day her parents were killed. This was a traumatic event, and Eren saved her by killing her kidnappers. In doing so, he achieved 3 things. He saved her, he showed her how to live, her words, not mine, and he helped her activate her Acumen powers. From that point forward, Eren became Mikasa's home. Now, Ymir, freed some orphans from the underground. Oh, my bad. Freed some pigs. And King Fritz didn't like that. So he sent a hunting party after her. After burning her home, she returns to him with the power she acquired whilst being chased. Had she not been hunted, we're to assume she would have never acquired the powers. In other words, he's partially responsible for her being able to turn into a Titan, for her Titanization. He's responsible partially for her powers. This is the closest thing to a similarity we have between Aramika and Ymir and Fritz. And the word similar seems to be overcompensating. All they share in common are they are two powerful girls being forced to stay with the person who played a hand in helping them acquire or activate their powers. That's it, people. And did you even hear what I said? In the similarities, there's still so many differences. This is where things really deviate. Part 2. Differences. For as long as he's alive, King Fritz uses Ymir's power for personal gain over and over for his selfish reasons. This is gonna sound like a similarity, but Ymir protects King Fritz. She does. She jumps in front of the spear to save him. That's something Mikasa would do for Eren, I think, right? However, the all-powerful Ymir then chooses to die. In that moment, something Mikasa would never do because, unlike Fritz, Eren taught Mikasa how to live. And unlike Ymir, Mikasa actually loved Eren. Mikasa's favorite mantra in the series is, and I quote, "I just want to be by his side." Her alleged parallel is a woman who chose to die instead of be by her abusers. So, in summation, Eren taught Mikasa how to live. Fritz had Ymir hunted to be killed. Eren saved Mikasa. Fritz endangered Ymir. Eren resented Mikasa's strength and hated when she did anything for him. Fritz used Ymir up in whatever way he could, her body, her powers, etc. Eren was allegedly madly in love with Mikasa, right? Chapter 139, right? The whole time. Just kidding. But he did care about her, and Fritz never cared about Ymir. So then my question I must ask is, what exactly was the same about their relationship? What exactly did Ymir see in Mikasa that reminded her of herself? Was it the power that she acquired while being rescued by her love interest? Couldn't have been. Circumstances were way too different. Was it Eren's Titan punching Mikasa? Was it the headbutt? No. Then was it the genocide? Let's explore that. So first and foremost, we have to establish the fact that Mikasa had been seeing Eren through rose-colored lenses this entire time, right? And we have to establish the fact that Ymir never got the opportunity to view Fritz through these rose-colored lenses. She knew Fritz was an asshole from the beginning, okay? Fritz treated her like dirt. Eren never treated Mikasa terribly. He didn't return her affection. He didn't appreciate the babying and the momming, but he never treated her horribly, and he showed her that he cared for her. But anyways, few things. Mikasa didn't know Eren was capable of genocide, right? Rose-colored lenses. And also, 139 will have you believe that it was Ymir who made Eren do the rumbling in the first place. So Mikasa was in love with a pretty normal soldier guy who Ymir forced to do a rumbling. So how is it the same as Ymir being in love with someone who literally never cared about her and acted completely of his own free will in his assholery? Now, you should be scratching your chin right now. That doesn't make sense. You're right, that doesn't add up. If she made him choose to be an asshole, then how is it the same? How could she possibly see herself in Mikasa if Mikasa and Eren are both victims of Ymir's? It doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you why right now. It doesn't make sense because it's a retcon. It's really as simple as that. Eren chose to do the rumbling, period. Ymir was never in love with Fritz, period. And Mikasa is not and was never Ymir's parallel. Exclamation point. So before chapter 139 dropped, me as well as many of my comrades, I guess. They don't know who I am, but me and so many people made character analysis of Eren, right? I know this is a video about Mikasa, but it's relevant. Okay. So many people made videos about Eren and his character, right? We were all, quote, proven wrong because of the retconning, obviously. But my video was called, Can We Defend Eren Yeager? Right? And it was 100% about the genocide. So if you would like me to go more into detail about that, because the answer is yes, we can defend him, go watch that video. It'll be in the cards. Can we defend Eren Yeager? Yes. But I will give you a little blurb from the video. Eren selflessly commits a selfish act, right? Killing the many oppressors for the few oppressed. Would Fritz ever do that? No. He only cared about himself. He didn't care about his people. And Eren does care about his people. Another thing that was retconned, right? He cares about Mikasa, unlike Fritz x Ymir. Still, genocide is genocide, and it is horrible and inexcusable. But Eren is a good guy who did a bad thing. And Fritz is a bad guy who did bad things for no reason. So again, what about their relationship is the same? What about Eren and Fritz was the same at all in any regard? Now, if you can literally answer just that one question for me, I will pray to you. I don't know. What no ending defender will ever address is the fact that Eren does not equal King Fritz. Therefore, Mikasa cannot equal Ymir. Therefore, Ymir is completely wrong, and what the F for seeing herself in Mikasa, it just does not make sense. And it's a retcon, and it's to subvert expectations and not have the story end how we all predicted it would, right? Chapter 2, Isayama and Romance. So I have a video about Isayama alone coming up. Anyways, Isayama admitted to sucking at romance. He did. He was too shy to draw the Aramika kiss and not confident enough in his own skills to write them romantically. I don't understand how you're too shy to draw two characters kiss while they're both alive, but when one is dead, it's suddenly not a problem. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. The math isn't mathing. Again, the guy who drew the person upside down in the asshole eating chair, right? The guy who drew Grisha getting his dick cut off is too shy to draw two characters kiss, and too shy and too not confident to write them, what, calling each other baby or something? I don't get it. Like, they could have kissed in that scene if that's what he intended. They didn't have to have any more romantic encounters after that. They could have kissed to establish the fact that they were a romantic pairing in that moment. And they didn't have to do any other sweet talking, any other da-da-da. They're still soldiers. They're still really busy, right? We get it as the audience. But still, they didn't. Now, let's say he wasn't bad at romance. Let's say he wasn't bad at writing it. And let's say Aramika chapter 50 kiss actually happened. Let's say this was his intention the whole time. Like the interview says, Mikasa probably wanted a kiss, right? So ever since chapter 50, let's rewrite the manga. Ever since chapter 50, Aramika were madly in love. The way depicted by chapter 139 Eren. Complete with the jealousy, the broken baby Japanese, the immaturity, the tantrums, and whiny Eren, right? Real Eren, right? How then does Ymir see herself in Mikasa? Anybody ever think of that? Since Aramika was supposed to be romantically involved since chapter 50 and madly in love, how then does Mikasa equal Ymir? How? How then does Eren equal Fritz? How? Isayama really messed up. He messed up so bad he has to contradict some retcons to make the other retcons make sense. With canon how it is now, no developed romance between Aramika, no chapter 50 kiss, etc., Isayama has to grasp at straws to make Mikasa equal Ymir. Add that kiss, and there's nothing left to grasp. The literal last straw Isayama had to make Mikasa equal Ymir was the unrequited love leg. That's the last leg he had to stand on. And now he retcons that retcon by saying Eren well, I almost said Ymir. Eren and Mikasa were madly in love the whole time. Eren was madly in love with Mikasa the whole time. Madly in love. Chapter 3. Ymir wants something from us. Said Armin, right? Who would have thought this whole time Ymir set up all the events in the entire story just to see if Mikasa would kill Eren? Who would have thought Ymir killed the Survey Corps, had Eren trash Libero, and kill 80% of the world just to see if her OTP would sink? She didn't save Zeke because he has royal blood and she's a slave. She saved Zeke so Eren could use him to set her free under the pretense that it was all his idea. Then pretended to go ahead with Zeke's plan also Eren can break the rules of paths, which actually don't exist anyway, since Ymir is actually not a slave. Then Eren frees her, only again, she's not really a slave. It's all a hilarious prank she's pulling on Eren. Don't you guys get it? She has him do all of this just to see if Mikasa will kill him. Is that actually the story we've been reading this whole time? Are you really gonna sit here and defend a story like that? Where the characters are just playing tricks on one another? Is this The Great Pretender? Amazing show, by the way. I love that show. But that's not what we were watching. We weren't watching The Great Pretender. We were watching Attack on Titan. A story about freedom, not con artists. She was pretending to be a slave the whole time to get Eren to get to her and think he was setting her free. Only no, she was never a slave and he didn't set her free. He just fell right into her trap just so Mikasa could kill him. Huh. And he's Fritz how? How is he Fritz? Chapter 4. Another aside about Eren. Okay. As if I don't talk about him enough, right? Ymir knows all of the paths, right? So she should have seen that Eren would be the one to free her, right? Only nothing in the series is ever entirely explained. So we have her about to follow Zeke's order, which would have probably not have made the whole Mikasa killing Eren thing even happen. Eren video coming soon, okay? In almost every video I mention that if saving Paradis was never Eren's goal, then who is he acting for? Why was the whole Paradis brought into paths? And etc., so on and so forth. Again, this is another video, but who the hell is Ymir pretending to be a slave for? It's like playing house, but playing slave for some reason. Why? Who is she doing this for? If she was never a slave, why is she pretending? This whole series, she hasn't been a slave. And she's been willingly wiping the minds of Paradisians and just so many more fucking atrocities. And all of this for what? What is this all for? I don't get it. Is this all literally just to watch Mikasa kill Eren? That's what this is? This show has literally turned me into the Joker. Oh yes, I'm the great pretender. Pretending, oh, I do it well. If you can agree with me on nothing else, you at least have to agree that if her goal was to see Mikasa kill Eren this whole show, we should have seen her setting up opportunities for that during the show, not just in the last 2 chapters. She should have set Mikasa up to kill Eren in like chapter 50, for instance. She should have set Mikasa up to kill Eren chapter 5. You know, just so many opportunities where Mikasa could have had the chance to kill Eren so she could see what she wanted to see so bad. She's been waiting 2,000 years to see this happen, right? So why is she waiting? Why is she waiting until December 31st to see Mikasa kill Eren when she could have killed him January 2nd? What? So using Kodansha canon, right? Eren didn't know what Mikasa would do to appease Ymir, right? So he didn't know she was leading him to a death trap. He didn't know that she imposed 2,000 years of suffering on her descendants and self because she couldn't get over the man who abused her. He didn't know all of this. What kind of story is this? We're to believe the character Eren Yeager, right, throughout this entire story, the whole time, blindly trusted this demigod ghost being, sacrificing his own mother for an outcome he, 1, wasn't sure if his friends would survive, 2, knew he wouldn't survive, and 3, would leave Paradis's future up to fate. We're to believe that? This person we've been following since season 1, whose character we all know so well, we're to believe those 3 things? What? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw Eren's character develop in all of these areas, literally. He wishes his friends to live long, happy lives. Remember, I said wishes. He stops being suicidal after his mother and Historia saves his psychology. And he vows to all Paradisians he would single-handedly save Paradis. Yet, in chapter 139, all Eren cared about was Ymir. Now, you heard me right. With the way this story ends, all Eren cared about the entire series was Ymir. Let me explain. If he was willing to sacrifice his mom, his friends, and Paradis just so Ymir can witness Mikasa's choice, whatever it was, he didn't know, remember? Whatever Mikasa's choice was, he was willing to sacrifice all of that so Ymir could have this moment with Mikasa. That's the best evidence ever that Eren actually loved Ymir. He literally sacrificed the entire world for Ymir with blind trust. If you defend the ending, that's what you're telling me. So, got that, Aramika fans? Not only is Jean Casa in-game, but Eren x Ymir is also in-game. That's what you're defending. This whole story, more than anything, more than anyone, Eren loved Ymir. And she was the most important thing, more than Carla, more than Mikasa, more than Historia, more than innocent people. Eren cared about Ymir. He gave her the world. 80% of it, but, you know. Chapter 5, George R.R. Martin. Stay with me here. I know what you're thinking. What does he have to do with anything? Hear me out. So, I have another video, right? I'm sorry, I'm just shouting myself out all over the place. It'll be in the cards. Called George R.R. Martin Explains Why 139 was so bad. Something like that, or whatever. But it's one of his older interviews, and he's talking about why he doesn't go through the Reddit tag or whatever, Quora, Tumblr, and interact with fans or get influenced by their posts or comment back to their posts, because his story is his story, and the way he wants to end it, he's going to end it that way regardless. And then he explains why retconning is bad and why he doesn't do it and why he wouldn't do it and why he thinks it's the biggest mistake any writer could make. And what's interesting is, in this video, he says there is sometimes a process to retconning, right? Sometimes it's a straight ass pull from nowhere, right? Like, last second, oh, Eren bitching and moaning, I love Mikasa this whole time, ha ha ha, like, something like that, you know? Or if you would like to argue that, something more jarring, I would say, would be how he said it. How he sat down, bitched and moaned and cried, kicking and screaming, I don't want her to da-da-da-da, right? Like, when have we ever seen him act like that? You know, sometimes it's a straight ass pull from nowhere, from the clouds. Other times, there's a straw or two placed towards the end that makes the other well-developed bales of hay lead nowhere, or pointless, meaningless, or obsolete, right? Now, I have to plug this other video I made called the Chapter 139 Makes These Once Great Scenes Obsolete, because it does. And in that video, I go on and on ad nauseum, going through each of my favorite scenes that have been made obsolete by the retconning of the ending. But yeah, I say all of this to say that Ymir wanting to view love and sacrifice, or whatever the fuck, from the Paradisians this whole time, was one of these retcons where a couple of little breadcrumbs, well, straws, I'll call them in this video, a couple of straws were placed towards the end so we could do this retcon. Chapter 6, the actual parallel of Ymir. Surprise, surprise, it's Historia, okay? And again, this is another one of these sections where I'm gonna breeze past because I explained it all. And again, another plug, my video, Eren is the father. I think it's called By the Way, ... Eren is the father. In that video, I go on and on ad nauseum about how and why Eren and Historia are meant to be endgame, how Eren was built up to be the devil this entire time of his own volition, right? Not controlled by Ymir, nothing like that. Eren was built up to be the devil of this story, the entire story, right? That was the plan from the beginning. The final devil was not Ymir. Ymir was not controlling Eren, this whole story. Eren was set up to be the devil, and Historia was set up to be the new Ymir. And I'm not even gonna spend too much time on this because it's so obviously plotted out in the story. And like I said, these ending defenders will literally ignore the bales of hay, the well-developed bales of hay of Eren x Historia making canonical sense. And instead, they will opt out and grasp at literal straws to prove that Eremika was this selfish love the entire story. Like I said, it's this selective straw grabbing. Here is the perfect example of it. Pick and choose what they want to focus on in the manga while ignoring literally everything else, anything that can contradict what they say. We have that beautiful screenshot from Twitter, right, of all of the parallels, the visual parallels of Historia being Ymir's freaking parallel. All of these beautiful images. Oh my God, it was set up beautifully, set up perfectly, right? Historia has royal blood. Frida showed Historia the book. Hey, act like her, right? That was the first introduction we got to both of them. And then the whole thing, how Historia was accepting roles her entire life, right? But again, I went into more detail on this subject in my other video. By the way, Eren is the father, so check that out if you would like more evidence. So in conclusion, the similarities between Mikasa and Ymir are they both had great power. And that's pretty much it. However, the only narratively stimulating similarity between the two of them is that Eren freed them both. He did. He did free Ymir. He freed them both. Now, I know it has to be addressed. I know it has to. An ending defender will bring up the panel of Ymir observing a couple to justify the ending. And to that I say, that, my friend, is a straw. Like I said, it's selective straw grabbing. That panel could represent Ymir's longing for belonging, or a connection, since she was void of both. Or as George R.R. Martin says, retconning is a process. Well, it could be a process. That isn't just a sudden ass pull, even though it can be. It could also be, last minute shoehorns of panels and quotes and other things to, go for this other ending. The instant the panel appeared could have been the moment Isayama began to scrap his original story for what we received. But it was way too late to do that. You can't just annihilate everything else that's before that panel. You can't selective straw grab the entire story. Some things are already laid out and well developed, so there isn't much straws you can grab from cement. Honestly, if Eren had bitched and moaned about Levi finding a girl after he died, I would have believed that. And guess what? Using your technique, selective straw grabbing, I could pull the panel of Levi staring at Eren when he was behind him, when they were on the horses, when Levi first gets control of Eren, and he stares at him, and Eren notices, and he looks away, he averts his eyes. I could use that as evidence. Look, ooh, 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 baby's so shy. Baby's so shy when daddy look at him. Oh, is Arari canon? Or how about that conversation between Ymir and what's his name, Reiner? When they were talking about their sexualities and talking about Historia, I could make the argument that they just wanted each other. They were flirting in that scene. Ymir, freckled Ymir, loved Reiner. And that's why she decided to sacrifice herself at Marley, because she loved Reiner. See how easy it is to create canon? See how easy it is to grab straws? Now, if Isayama said in an interview tomorrow that freckled lesbian Ymir loved Reiner, are we all gonna believe that? Are you gonna pick the straw I just threw you? Pick the bone I just threw you? Oh, no, she's right. That's why Ymir sacrificed herself, because she loved Reiner. Look at this panel right here. They're flirting, talking about sexuality. That's flirting. Selective straw grabbing. So I do want to end this video on a calm note. A very calm note. The only parallels to Ymir the entire story were Eren and Historia. So that's the end of the video. That's the end of the video, guys. I hope you liked it. Like I said, I will be making a playlist. I actually think I spoke wrong and said, I don't know what I said, but I'll be making a playlist, AOT Ending Graveyard. So send your ending defenders there to die. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm on Patreon. I'm gonna be at Anime Midwest this July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Make sure you come see me. Come beat my ass if you want. Come give me a hug if you want. I don't care. I don't care. I'm hype. Let's go. That's the end of the video. Eren video next. The long-awaited Eren video. The long-awaited Isayama video. And then I think I'm done. I think that's everything. So, bye guys.